Today we are going to be talking about Euro USD technical analysis or swing trading using a volume profile, and I'm going to pick up from where I left off last week. So last week, roughly around 6 days ago, I did an analysis on Euro USD in terms of where I thought market was going to go, conditions that I laid out, rules and conditions that we needed to keep an eye on to make sure that if any of these rules were kind of taken out, we would make sure that we was facing in the right direction if we decided to jump in. So pretty much market has carried on from its trend of 6 days ago. It's still in that exact same trend that we was talking about now, and we're still inching closer to the target TP of 1.2263. So we're in the middle of that right now. Price is moving in that direction, and what I'm here to do with you all today is just to make sure that if there are any traps, any possibility that price might be pulling back, at least we'll spot it here. I will alert you guys to it if you haven't noticed it already. That is if it's there, right? And we can take the appropriate action. On the other hand, if it's going to continue in the direction that it's moving in, then naturally, if we're all locked in, then we're just going to ride that trend all the way up. In the famous words of a trader that I used to know, he used to say that we hope market goes up forever, right? So we see if we're going to get that. So what I'm going to do is basically starting off the jump is I'm going to go into the 1 hour time frame, and then I'm going to find the end of last week, right? Because usually when I'm doing Euro USD, the analysis is done on a Friday, right? So today being Friday, half of the stuff that I talked about in last week's video, you should have noticed it, and if you did, great. If you didn't, that's fine too. The main thing is that as it stands, price is still moving in a direction that we thought it was going to go in, right? So last week when I did the video on the Friday, so we was probably somewhere around here when this video was made. Obviously was looking at it on the daily, because this channel is primarily based on a swing trade, right? So you want to stay in the market for as long as possible. We would have been seeing this in a daily format, right? So with that said and done, we're just going to get straight into it. So the first thing you're going to see is the magic of the volume profile in effect, just straight off the rip, right? What do I mean by that? Well, we have these areas right here, which is the low value node above the high value area, or market is in the low value area, which is all of this right here. So this is the low value area right here, and we have a low value node sitting in right here that market taps into a few times and moves away from. So as we can see, it's moving away from it. And on Friday, you probably would have noticed that price had moved away from the low value node and was around here somewhere, depending on the time that I did it. So chances are we was probably looking at it from this angle over here. And then on a Monday, beginning of market, if you had got in with the buy, it would have been touch and go. And then obviously price has now come back in and it's now pushed back up again. So far, things are looking kind of good. Things are looking good, right? We had the previous week's high taken out on the Wednesday just gone, so that would be 2 days ago, and then we had the actual last week's high taken out on the Tuesday, right? So we had two previous weekly highs taken out, which would have given us a really good indicator to say, hey, this might be time to take some type of action, okay? But however, how the weekly highs was taken out, it didn't really have that much strength to it, if that makes sense. So as we can see, if you look in this area right here, we can see we have a bunch of pin hammers in this area right here that would not have filled me with too much confidence, in all fairness, right? It would not have filled me with a lot of confidence, because I would have looked at that and I would have said to myself, it's probably going to collapse. So I probably would have needed a high around this level over here taken out. So let's say this level right here taken out, I most likely would have required that in order before I jumped in, and that level in question would be 1.1304, right? So that's what I would have been looking for. Now, had these conditions been met, so remember, if you were going to be taking trades this week, there was probably a number of things that you probably would have looked out for before you did it. Some guys want to get it dead on, so they would have looked for entries in this area right here. Okay, this is where your stop would have been at its tightest if you could execute it in that area, and there was no guarantee by getting in at these areas over here that price was going to keep going up. This is why I refer to the Dixie, right? But chances are the most sensible move that you could have made was a high point being taken out, not the highest point, but however a swing high in that specific trend being taken out, and that would have been this level right here. Okay, and that level in question, that would be 1.15429. so if that level was taken out and that would have been the high of the Friday, you could have kind of said, okay, you're going to hop in and then see what you can get. And if you made that move, all of this would be yours right now. You would be sitting in a decent amount of profit. Let's have a look to see how many pips you would have collected. You would have been up right now 146 pips to the upside. You'd have done very well with that move. So if you did do that, well done to you. That's a nice bit of profit for the week. Okay, so we definitely encourage that. We want to see everybody win. So so that would have been great. A great performance, a great entry and exit, and it would have been great based on the fact that it was logic that was used to get into those trades, supposing to anything else. And these are the types of things that we like to encourage on this channel. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is, once again, I always keep referring to the Dixie. So we're going to take a look at the Dixie, because whatever direction the Dixie is looking is where everything is going to go, right? So as we can see, the Dixie right now has done some form of a pullback. It looks like it's going into a consolidation of an ascending channel, something like this. That's what it looks like it's doing now. Okay, that is what it's looking like it's doing now. So if the Dixie is going to be doing this, let's say I am right and the Dixie is going to be bouncing around to the upside, okay, whatever direction is going to blow in is the direction is going to blow in. So we're not going to focus on that. What we are going to focus on is what the euro would be doing. Okay, so as we can see, let's just have a quick look to see if that too has gone into some form of a channel, and it has. So let me show you what I mean. It's gone into a channel itself. It hasn't touched the bottom, but the tops have definitely confirmed themselves to be a channel. So the bottom trend line that I've put in is just there for the sake of it, but the top one is the most important ones, the ones where we're actually getting touches. Okay, so I will use this area here, the underside, as a guide. So we'll just hold it like that for now, right? And we're gonna say we have this upward channel right here. I'm gonna leave it like that for until we do the next analysis, and just to see how much has changed. So let's go back to the Dixie and see how that is looking. So we're getting a bounce, kinda needs to be confirmed, or maybe I should have it like this, or maybe I should have it like that. Okay, let me go back to euro again, just have a quick look to see if this whole thing makes any sense. Jump on the 4 hour. Okay, let's go back to the Dixie again. If you look at it from the 4 hour point of view, okay, it doesn't look, I mean, everything I'm seeing is kind of making sense, but it's not proving itself to be symmetrical in the way that I want it to, in the way that I want it to show. Okay, all right, so let's go back to the euro and let's see what that has to say. Okay, we have some type of symmetry going on here. We do have it. Maybe it wasn't in the area where I first thought, but we do have it. Okay, let's look at the Dixie one more time. Where is the Dixie? Where did I place that? Okay, here we are. Okay. Okay, so based on what we're seeing now on the 4 hour of the Dixie, okay, this level right here would be the main point of interest, but we can use this level right here to guide us, right? And because we have a gap in this area right here, it's a logical place to target for if things go wrong, what to do. So I'm gonna say this is the zone of interest, and because we're actually looking at the Dixie, these levels that I'm marking out actually makes a lot of sense. So essentially you're doing a number of analysis in one go just by looking at the Dixie. So if you didn't know that, just by analyzing that, you analyze so many other markets at the same time as well. So I just wanted to put that out there for your attention. Okay, so the level that I have marked out in the Dixie is this level right here. This is it right here. Okay, so the target would have been this area, or say this area over here, or it could even be this area over here, right? I believe it's this area over here, right? The corresponding location. But however, this is the one we're looking at, the shortest hop possible. So at this level right here, it's where I would start making decisions as to if I need to be out the game or not. Now, bearing in mind, at this level over here that I've pointed out, if that is where you're targeting, okay, and you did not use the swing high over here for your entry, but you used last week's high, weekly high, sorry, to make a decision, that effectively will mean is you will go into a slight drawdown before you actually jump out of the market to face in the opposite direction. So my move essentially would be, I would use this trend line that I've put in place right now, so this little zone that I've created, okay, and if it is taking out up here, so long as it's taking out above this level right here, so long as it is taking out above this level right here, I know I stand a chance of being able to get out of it with a little bit of profit in hand. Obviously, we want maximum amount, but if that's what we can get, that's what we'll take. And what I'm looking at is 1.16390, right? So that's how I would more or less play the game in regards to EURUSD. It's still looking bullish to me. It looks like we might get some type of pullback today, right? We could get that, and those are the levels that I've laid out for you guys. But for the most part, it looks like it is going to keep moving in the upward direction. So with all of that said and done, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, right? So with that all said and done, I'll see you all on the next one.